So hi, welcome back to Mountain Boys. Today is part 3 of Adam's favorite flies of 2020. And when I was talking to him, he gave me his favorite flies in no particular order. So here again, in no particular order, is the third in that series, and it is going to be a gray RS2. Today I've got a size 20 Dai-Riki 310 here in the vise. What makes this hook special is I'm pretty sure it's probably a 1x long, maybe even a 2x long style hook, and it also has a straight eye instead of a downturned eye there. So to start with, I've got some gray 8/0 unithread. I'm going to start my thread wrap 1 or 2 eye lengths back, and I'm not going to snip off or break off my tag end of thread here. So I'm going to bring my thread wrap back to about the bend in the hook here, and I kept tension on the tag end, keeping it on top in the middle of that hook shank the whole time. And now it's time to tie in the tail, and for an RS2, here I'm using some white nylon microfibbets, which is the fancy way of saying some fine synthetic nylon paintbrush bristles. Tough one to say right now. So I'm going to grab 2 of them. I'm going to even them up. I'm going to pinch them by the pointy ends there. And when I tie these on, I'm going to make this easy on myself. I'm not going to try to tie them on one side at a time. I'm going to go ahead and just lay them not quite perpendicular, maybe about a 45-degree angle off here. And as I start to wrap, they will magically center themselves on top of that hook without taking a real dive off either side. So I have them secured there, and I'm going to pull them forward just a little bit there to get the length proportion a little bit better. So tips of my tail fibers here, I probably want to be about the length of that hook shank, maybe just a little bit longer. So I got those where I want. Now I'm going to grab that tag end, and this is the hardest part of the whole fly. I'm going to split the tail fibers with my bodkin, and this can be a chore. No doubt, this can be a bit of a chore. When I get them split, maybe, I'm going to run my tag end thread right between them and pull it forward. And the harder I pull on these, the more it'll splay out those tail fibers. So I've got a good point where I like it right there. Go ahead and throw in some more thread wraps. Maybe give it a little bit more. Whoop! Don't pull too taut, or else you'll really pull one of those fibers up. So they're nice and splayed there, more or less secure. So I'm going to go ahead and snip off the tag end and those microfibbets there. So for dubbing for the body, I'm going to be using some superfine, and I'm just going to go for the gray. Get the littlest little bit here. You don't need a lot of this at all. On RS2s that I see tied commercially, even at the fly shops and stuff, I feel like especially the abdomen dubbing is put on way too thick. So I'm going to get a sparse amount here. That might even be a little too much. I'm going to go ahead and run that noodle up. And start my dubbing. And if it seems like your dubbing's going on a little thick, you can actually even just grab the thread and dubbing together and be really particular about how it goes on. So once again, even here, I got a little too much. So if I have extra dubbing to deal with, I'm going to deal with it at the front of the fly instead of the back. So now I'm going to go maybe about a third of the way down the hook shank there. And this is where I'm going to tie in my wing. And for this, I'm just using some white synthetic parapost. I'm going to get a little bundle of it here. I'm going to see what kind of shape my ends are in. I might trim them off there just so they're more or less even. Go ahead and grab them in a pinch wrap, just like that. Do another wrap for luck there. And I'm going to pull back on these fibers just so they clear the eye there of that hook before I go any further. Give them one more wrap just so we know they're nice and secure. Now I'm going to grab some more of that gray dubbing. Go ahead and twist it on my thread here. Yep, get it started. Now I'm going to do one wrap in front, and I'm going to do a good wrap behind too, and that'll just help hold that parapost wing a little bit more vertical, which is what I want. So now once that's done, I can go ahead and cover the rest of that fibrous stuff right there with the rest of my dubbing. And I'm ended there right behind the eye, which is what I want. Now it's just time to whip finish. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull it taut, but don't snap it, don't break it. It's easy to do. Won't always wreck you if it breaks, but it's just kind of a pain. Now for the wing, I really don't want it to be any longer than the back of my abdomen there. So if you look towards the rear, you can see I don't really want much of a wing at all. And I'm going to come down with my scissors kind of at an angle. Go ahead and snip that off. Right there. So that's snipped. Forgot a step here, and that's just to secure my whip finish head. So I'm going to grab a little bit of clear nail polish. Just put a little bit of that there on those threads right there. Lock them into place. So there is a size 20 gray RS2. My Uncle Ralph's favorite way to fish this fly is behind a parachute Adams, probably, 18, 20 inches behind. So there you go. Really nice, effective mayfly emerger pattern here. It's Mountain Boys, and I'll see you next time.